Hello, my name is Stojanche and I'm a graduate school student at Yonsei University majoring in English linguistics. Today I will talk about the structure of hypertext in the Macedonian language, which is a research paper that I did for a syntax course. Hyperlinks are website elements that redirect the user to a different part of the same website or a completely different website. There are three types of hyperlinks: absolute, relative, and inline links, which all have a similar purpose: to redirect the user to something else. Several studies in linguistics that touch on the topic of hypertext have been conducted, but not many analyze their syntactic structure. One interesting project which inspired my research is the constituency of hyperlinks in a hypertext corpus by Michael Erlewine. Prior to this research, Erlewine's observations were that not all substrings of words can be turned into hyperlinks, and that there are specific rules behind capturing hypertext. The research used a linked data collection with more than 100,000 hyperlink entries and 5.7 million words. These hyperlinks were parsed and checked for their constituency type. The results indicated that 76.2% of the hyperlinks in English are constituents, while 58% are nominal. One of the study's conclusions is that non-constituent hyperlinks in English exist and they are not random. One of the stated potential steps for further research is to examine how non-constituent hypertexts behave in another language. Another study that touches on the constituency of hypertext in English is a superlinguistics of hyperlink pointing, which provides an analysis of various linguistic aspects related to hypertext, including a syntactic analysis. The results suggest that hyperlinks in English can be non-constituents, which means that certain phrases that are not considered constituents in constituency test can be captured as part of hyperlinks. These studies have inspired me to explore if the same outcomes would be attained when hypertext in the Macedonian language is analyzed. In this SQUIB, I explored the following two questions. Does non-constituent hypertext exist in the Macedonian language? And two, how can the existence of non-constituent hypertext in Macedonian be explained? Data analysis. Provided that a database for the hyperlinks in Macedonian does not exist, I manually collected 85 pieces of hypertext from 8 different websites. Surprisingly, not many websites in Macedonian incorporate hypertext in their articles. Even comments posted on forums did not include hypertext, which made the process very lengthy. For the purpose of this analysis, upon inspecting the linked text, each constituent and non-constituent were labeled with a category. The total number of hypertext divided by type of constituency is shown in the first figure. In the collected data, all single linked words follow the same pattern. There are proper nouns that refer to either a name of a country or a sports club, as demonstrated in the example below. Ukrajina pobedi na Eurovizija 2022. Ukraine won Eurovision 2002. I excluded 15 single words from the collected data as there was non-constituent representation, which obscures the results. The filtered data consists of 70 hypertexts, of which 67 are constituents and only 3 are non-constituents. Now moving on to constituent hypertext. The results for the constituent hypertext grouped by lexical category can be seen in the table below. Noun phrases with more than 70% seem to be the most commonly incorporated hypertext in the Macedonian language. This result aligns with Erlewine's findings, where it is shown that noun phrases are also the most commonly captured category in hypertext in English. Examples of constituents of hypertext can be seen below. Каде можам да најдам гумени црни ракавици како што има типов, which translates into, where can I find black rubber gloves as this guy? Regular nouns can be captured in a hypertext together with the adjectives that modify them, or in some cases, they can be captured without the adjective that modifies them. Unlike regular nouns, proper noun phrases tend to be captured all together. That can be seen in the following example. Ron Finley е добро познат американски активист, which translates into, Ron Finley is a well-known American activist. Now moving on to non-constituent hyperlinks. With the limited number of hypertexts used in online writings in Macedonian language, non-constituent hypertexts are a very rare occurrence. An example of non-constituent hypertext in Macedonian language can be seen below. Подигнувањето ѕидови на местата каде границите помеѓу државите во регионот се порозни ќе го спречи наливот на мигранти, which translates into raising walls in the places where the borders between the countries in the region are porous will prevent the influx of migrants. To confirm that this hypertext is a non-constituent, several tests can be conducted. So in the first example, we've modified the data for the purposes of performing topicalization constituency tests. Навистина подигнувањето ѕидови на местата каде границите помеѓу државите во регионот се порозни ќе го спречи наливот на мигранти, which translates into raising walls in the places where the borders between the countries in the region are porous indeed will prevent the influx of migrants. Now in the B, we can see the actual test of topicalization with the real example. Подигнувањето ѕидови на местата каде навистина границите помеѓу државите во регионот се порозни ќе го спречи наливот на мигранти, which translates into raising walls in the places where indeed the borders between the countries in the region are porous will prevent the influx of migrants. And then we have clefting example to further confirm the non-constituency. Подигнувањето ѕидови на местата каде е тоа што границите помеѓу државите во регионот се порозни ќе го спречи наливот на мигранти, which translates into raising walls in places where is what the borders between the countries in the region are porous will prevent the influx of migrants. The text in the hyperlink is oddly captured as it fails to convey context. The hyperlink would make perfect sense if the captured text was expanded to raising walls in the places where borders between the states and regions are porous. The lack of logic behind the hypertext in this example raises the question of whether non-constituent hypertext exists because of unintended behavior or whether they're intentional. Similar example can be examined in the following example where there's no logic behind the way the linked text has been captured. Јадењето банани може да го подобри расположението на вашето дете, which translates into eating bananas can improve the mood of your child. Now, to see that the hypertext is indeed non-constituent, we can perform some tests. First, we have topicalization. Подобри расположението на јадењето банани може да го вашето дете, which translates into improve the mood of eating bananas can your child. And then we have another example of clefting. Јадењето банани може да го вашето дете е тоа што подобри расположението на, which translates into eating bananas can your child is what improve the mood of. This example exhibits similar behavior to the previous one. The way the hypertext is captured shows no semantic logic. Earl Wine suggests that hypertext sometimes can be shortened just for the sake of being shortened, with no special attention paid to meaning. This can be observed through one of Earl Wine's examples in the English language, where the captured text seems to be shortened, resulting in creation of non-constituent hyperlink. If you're going to kill off an entire section of a newspaper and fire all of the staffers who work there, it is probably a good idea to get Twitter password first. So in this example, we can see that the hyperlink is shortened, but it still makes sense semantically. Whereas this could be a possible occurrence in the English language, due to the lack of logic behind shortening the hypertext, all along with the lack of data in the Macedonian language, it is difficult to conclude if this could be a possible explanation behind the existence of non-constituent hypertext in Macedonian, or if they exist as a result of a human mistake. In conclusion, in this SQUIB, I have examined the constituency of hypertext through 85 examples of hypertext obtained from websites in the Macedonian language. I have shown that hypertext in the Macedonian language are predominant constituent. The majority of these constituents were nominal, which is also reflected in Earl Wine's finding in the English language hypertext. The existence of non-constituent hypertext in the Macedonian language was confirmed through analyzing several examples. However, due to the limited number of collected non-constituent hypertext in the Macedonian language, it is difficult to confirm whether Earl Wine's point on shortening hypertext for the sake of shortening that is present in the English hypertext can be applied to hypertext in Macedonian language. The lack of semantic logic behind the way non-constituent hypertexts in the Macedonian language were captured suggests that non-constituent hypertexts in the Macedonian language exist due to a human mistake and are unintentional. However, there is not enough data to support this hypothesis. Thank you.